Chapter 34, Zhou Chun's first show of might. Roar. 20 vampires rushed out of the big formation with a roar, following Shi Yan's subordinates. Nearly all of them were at the Yuanying realm. And now they were even demonized. Their strength had been boosted to a certain extent, and they rushed out with their teeth and claws open. And for a while, the black gas rolled around, and countless bats condensed and manifested in the black gas. The mountain peak where Li Shenji was. 20 ordinary Yuanying realms. Gu Hai is just one person. He'll have to suffer, a subordinate sneered. Li Shenji, however, narrowed his eyes. 20 Yuanying realms. Not necessarily. Gu Hai has quite a few treasures, and the last time news came in, he still has the undying divine flame. The two subordinates' faces sank. These 20 vampires shouldn't be able to help Gu Hai. I just don't know if Gu Hai is using that string puppet pole or the indestructible divine flame. Li Shenji said in a deep voice. Above another mountain peak, the white-clothed teenager was also staring dead below. This Gu Hai Che flame. It looks like he just stepped into the Yuanying realm. The white-clothed teenager frowned. 3 years ago, Gu Hai was still a Haoshan realm cultivator, Qing Feng respectfully said. Oh, that cultivation speed is quite alright. The white-clothed teenager nodded. However, this group of vampires, but they are all at the Yuanying realm. This Gu Hai may not be able to resist, Qing Feng frowned. No, the white-clothed boy shook his head. Oh, I told you, when looking at a person, cultivation is only superficial. Look at his eyes. When you look at Gu Hai's eyes, is there a hint of fear? The white-clothed boy said indifferently. Qing Feng fixed his eyes, and also frowned. Strange, Gu Hai's eyes. How come there is a kind of look down on this group of Yuanying realm vampires? It shouldn't be all. You remember, this is the heart of a strong man. He has the heart of a strong man who sees nothing in front of him, with eyes like this. And a heart like this, as long as they don't die young, every one of them will end up becoming a supreme powerhouse. The white-robed teenager explained. Yes, Qing Feng responded respectfully. Since you said that Dokoroku was coalesced by him, he should also be a sword Dao expert, right? How could he use a sword? The white-clothed boy said in doubt. In the distance, a remote valley. On the flying boat, Long Wenyu had a worried face. Counselor, you don't need to worry. Mr. Gu's undying divine flame is simply not comparable to these vampires, Sima Feng advised. Don't talk rubbish. If my brother-in-law drops a single hair of sweat, I'll make them look good, humph. Long Wenyu, however, said with an angry face. Sima Feng smiled slightly bitterly and stopped talking, patiently looking into the distance. Undying divine flame. Ancient sea was useless. String puppet pole. Gu Hai was also useless. As the group of vampires rushed in, Gu Hai was probing his hand and raised the long bronze sword in his hand. A battle intent flashed in his eyes. The foot took a step forward. The circumstantial blade technique was immediately executed. With his feet stepping on the heavenly yuan, under the condensation of the saber intent, steeply, 180, 6 handles of black and white saber chair emerged from Gu Hai's juka. As soon as the saber chair came out, it surrounded Gu Hai, forming a huge saber chest dance in general. Boom! The bats that rushed in were instantly annihilated by the flurry of blade chair. The two types of black and white blade chair, even more so, coalesced into 2 different blade stances. And under Gu Hai's urging, they quickly converged into an ocean of powerful blade stances that rushed straight out. The vampires that rushed in suddenly felt chills all over their bodies. What kind of blade technique is this? Li Shenji's eyes steeply glazed over. The field of blades. The white-clothed boy on the other mountain peak steeply shrunk his pupils. However, he saw that as Gu Hai chopped down with his sword, a hilt of saber chest deeply surged into the saber astral, as if it merged with the saber astral and blasted towards the 5 vampires at the very front. The great momentum of the chess game formed an unstoppable blade towards the crowd of vampires. The faces of the crowd of vampires changed, each taking out their swords to meet them. The light of the daggers blossomed, and a purple light blossomed between heaven and earth. An unstoppable might rushed straight out. Boom! The violet light bloomed and was extinguished in an instant. The blade passed through, setting off 2 gusts of wind. The vampire who had originally charged forward came to a violent halt. Horrified, they looked towards where Gu Hai's blade was. The 5 vampires at the front actually exploded under Gu Hai's blade. In mid-air, countless rains of blood and broken flesh was still falling. What? Qin Zibai and Xian inside the Grand Formation both had their eyes glazed over. What happened to that purple blade light just now? With a single slash, all 5 Yuanying realms were killed. 5 Yuanying realms. In the midst of Immortal while playing the zither, her eyes also lit up as a great deal of surprise erupted from her eyes. Impossible. What kind of blade technique does he have? Last time in Chagai, he didn't have a blade technique, he was just relying on the sharpness of the absolute life blade. Qin Zibai was surprised. Good. Brother-in-law is awesome. In the distance, Long Wenyu, however, shouted in excitement. Gu Hai's slash just now looked handsome. The mountain peak where Li Shenji was. Impossible. Right, my lord. Gu Hai didn't use a string puppet pole, nor did he use the undying divine flame. His blade technique. How could he? That's the Yuanying realm. Those 5 vampires are all at the Yuanying realm. Their cultivation is only stronger than Gu Hai. Why did they die under Gu Hai's blade? Could it be that knife? And where did Gu Hai find a precious knife? Li Shenji, however, narrowed his eyes. No, it's not the knife. That's just an ordinary knife. Is this a new blade technique? On top of another mountain peak. Qing Feng stared wide-eyed. What kind of blade technique is this? Was that a blade momentum just now? That blade chair, condensed into a momentum. The white-clothed youngster, however, his eyes lit up. Not bad. Good blade technique. What a peculiar blade technique. Young lord, this blade technique, why can't I understand it? This blade method, another way out. You can't understand normal. Just now the blade chair that surrounded him to form a field. But it is interlocked, each associated with the other. If I see it right, this blade chair field is a game of chess. A trace of excitement flashed in the white-clothed boy's eyes and said, Chess. Not bad. It's not difficult to learn this blade, but to fully master it, an ordinary blade cultivator simply can't do it. Because the person wielding the blade must be thorough with the potential of the chess game. It is only by penetrating the chess momentum that one can guide the blade momentum. Otherwise, one is only learning the skins of the game. Gu Hai knows how to play chess, the white-clothed boy curiously said. Hey, I'm not sure. I think I heard that he's a Zither Dao master. And it seems like he's also good at chess. Qing Feng shook his head. If this blade technique was created by Gu Hai, then this person is an unparalleled talent. A gleam of light flashed through the white-clothed boy's eyes and said, Huh, he's qualified to sharpen the young lord's sword. Qing Feng said in surprise. Depends on what he does next. Is it only this sword? The white-clothed young man said in a deep voice. Below, Gu Hai chopped down a blade, Zhou Chei. The effect was quite good. Gu Hai rode on his victory and stepped forward, once again stepping on the heavenly yuan. A purple blade deity coalesced. This time, it was 176 black and white blade auras that suddenly surrounded Gu Hai. Boom! The blade chair formed a field, and the surrounding bats were all instantly annihilated. Chop! Gu Hai took a step forward. The blade chair condensed and surged into the long blade. Once again a purple light shone in all directions. Boom! The blade chopped down, and the 6 vampires who were hastily resisting were instantly exploded by a chop, not even able to cry out. No, it can't be. The aura he exudes is not even as strong as ours. Why his blade? Can't it be blocked? A vampire exclaimed. Indeed it couldn't be blocked. The swords of the 11 vampires from earlier also instantly exploded. The explosive power of Gu Hai's sword was too ferocious. Chop! Gu Hai once again stepped on the heavenly yuan and chopped out with another slash. Zhou Chei. Boom! Purple light rushed into the sky. Everyone around was looking at Gu Hai with shocked faces. How is it possible? Gu Hai's aura. It hasn't increased It's only the aura of the early Yuan Ying realm war. Why is the power of his blade so great? My lord, didn't you say that it was an ordinary knife? Why is it so powerful? Yes, 3 knives, already 15 vampires have been beheaded, and the way Gu Hai looks, he actually doesn't blush or gasp. Li Shenji's face was gloomy. Blade technique. What kind of blade technique is this? Another mountain peak. The white-clothed boy's eyes narrowed slightly. 3 blades, with similar power, but 3 different pieces. This Gu Hai has truly created a unique blade technique. Actually, each blade is different, his chess power. It should be very strong, right? Qing Feng said blankly. Brother-in-law is great. Long Wenyu shouted excitedly from afar. The remaining 5 vampires, however, instantly came back to the fact that they were no match at all. They couldn't even get close. Terrified, they turned their heads towards the big formation. Lord, help! The 5 vampires fled towards the large formation in terror. Gu Hai, however, once again stepped on the heavenly yuan and slashed once again. Gu Hai's speed was too fast and each slash was too stunning. The people inside the large formation didn't react for a moment. It wasn't until Gu Hai slashed again to swarm and destroy his subordinates that Heian steeped his face in a grimace. Gu Hai, how dare you? As he spoke, Shiyan flipped his hand and projected a copper hammer. As soon as the copper hammer came out, it immediately rushed towards Gu Hai. Gu Hai showed a cold smile on his face as the 4th blade in his hand blasted down. Boom! With a loud bang, the copper hammer was chopped in half with a bang. The remaining vampires were also beheaded by the residual force, and 2 of them, only 3 escaped into the large formation with a terrified look on their faces. The battle in the big formation also stopped abruptly. Ancient Sea. Qin Zibai's face sank. Shi Yan was even more annoyed. Immortal Warrior's eyes were huge. How had she never thought earlier that Gu Hai's blade technique was so powerful? Hey Yan, are these subordinates of yours so unbearable? Or do you think that just with them, you can clean up me? Don't let Fairy Wanna go yet, Gu Hai shouted. Hearing this, Fairy Wanna's eyes suddenly softened a lot. When she looked at Gu Hai, she was no longer so nasty. Shi Yan, however, had a gloomy face, looking at Qin Zibai to the side. Qin Zibai's face was also gloomy. I hate that I didn't kill him in the first place. It's only been a few short months, and his strength has increased again. Blade techniques. What a bizarre blade technique. It seems that he has had another strange encounter. This person has grown from a Haoshan realm to this point in just 3 years. Could it be that he is also a person of heaven's favor, just like Chongming? Qin Zibai said with a gloomy face. Not necessarily. If he's a person of heavenly favor, he wouldn't have wasted so many years in the mortal stage. Humph. He just got lucky in these few years. This person can't be retained. I'll personally settle him, Shiyan said in a cold voice.